Welcome to the third episode of the Drama Boys series. In the previous two episodes, the story was told about Agaba, the most influential musician in the entire village of Ewinla. The king loved him. The entire village loved him. And Agaba adored the respect bestowed on him. However, circumstances happened and someone else, actually a small blind boy, came from nowhere and took the podium from Agaba. Now, the king's love has diverted from Agaba to that boy. The villagers are now singing his praises as though Agaba never existed. Agaba couldn't stand this, of course. And in order for him to recover his prestige, he would have to eliminate the boy once and for all. Just as the king had promised, Abu, the little drummer boy, did play for the sick in the village. At first, there was skepticism as to whether in truth the boy's playing of his drum had magic in it. Days following the great feast, an old woman whom had been severely sick for months was brought to the palace. The woman couldn't speak. She couldn't stand by herself. She couldn't even eat properly. The villagers had assumed that the woman would meet her death soon. When news started flying around the village that the old woman was being taken to the palace, some people murmured that it would be impossible for her to find healing. Some said that if the boy could heal the old woman, then he would be able to do absolutely anything. Even Agaba heard of the development and wondered if truly this could be happening. He doubted that the boy's playing would heal the old woman. When the woman was brought to the palace, people gathered outside, anticipating the outcome. There were musicians too gathered, waiting to start playing on hearing of the good news. Among the crowd were some pessimists, waiting to hear that the woman had died in the process. Among them was Ajala, Agaba's friend. Inside the palace, after the woman had been carefully laid down, Abu and the king stepped out into the court. Some of the elders were gathered around. The old woman's relatives, too, were around. Abu didn't ask any question. He just lifted his head as though he was staring into the heavens, lifted his drum and strapped it in place, and carefully he started to play. The rhythm of the drum vibrated the entire palace. Even the people gathered outside could feel the sweetness of the drum. The boy played and played and played, and then he started to sing slowly. His voice was covered by the beating of his drum, but the people inside the palace could not deny that there was indeed magic in his voice. As he played, gradually, the old woman on the floor started to roll. The people's attention quickly diverted to the woman. They stared in anticipation, knowing that she was indeed responding to the music. And then she started rising on her feet. The moment seemed magical. At first, the people started on in shock. And suddenly, someone shouted, "She's healed!" And then there was roar in the palace. The boy stopped playing, knowing that for certain the effect of his playing had taken place. The woman's relatives started hugging her, jubilating to the process. Someone rushed outside to inform the crowd that indeed the old woman had risen on her feet. The crowd would have rushed into the palace had the palace guards not mounted the entrance. Moments later, the woman stepped out into the outer court and the crowd went ballistic. Now, everyone wants to see the boy, but the boy wouldn't step out. On seeing the outcome, Ajala went straight to Agaba. He narrated the entire story to his friend. "That boy is no ordinary boy," Ajala said. "Come on, stop talking like that," Agaba quickly interjected. "He is just a boy?" "Yes, he is just a boy." After a little moment, Ajala added, "But he is also being used by the gods. And the gods can use us too." Ajala looked skeptical at his friend. "How can the gods use us like that?" "After we eliminate the boy as planned." Ajala nodded and stared away in thought. Before the end of the following week, Abu and his talking drum had healed 5 more people in the village. At this rate, no one, absolutely no one, was talking or thinking of Agaba. On the lip of everyone in the village was the name of the drummer boy. People now go to the palace with several food items, specifically for the blind boy. The entire village was joyful. One fateful morning, the village woke up to an unexpected news. The blind boy had been kidnapped. According to news from the king's town crier, some criminals had invaded the palace in the middle of the night and made away with the boy. The criminals are being hunted down. In the meantime, everyone should put their mind at rest, as the boy would surely be recovered. But the villagers' minds wouldn't be at rest. For God's sake, their savior had been taken away from them. It was a bad day for the entire village, particularly the king. Would the blind boy be recovered? What would happen to him now? The story continues in the next episode. We hope you have enjoyed the story so far. If you have, then do us a favor by pressing the thumbs up button, and we would appreciate your feedback in the comment box. These things are a big encouragement for us to keep bringing interesting stories to you. If you are yet to subscribe to the channel, kindly do so and let's build this community together. Till we see you in the next episode, know that you are appreciated.